Hi, my name is Grace Reeswood, and this is my Summative Blog entry. So when I wrote the 7 blogs, when I read over the 7 blogs before I started this project, it was great to reflect on all the different topics we've covered so far. So I wanted to talk about the ones that stick out the most and that I'm going to get the most out of as far as professional development goes. One I've already started working on comes from the 2nd blog entry where we talked about personality traits, and my own team is working on the Enneagram right now, and that is another form of personality assessment. And in my own personality assessment, it talked about not being creative, and that one hit me really hard because I don't believe it. So I am looking for ways at work to be more creative and to use my creative gifts or lack thereof and work on some. So right now I volunteered to do all the ads for our Saturday series. So I've started to do ads and volunteering for other creative projects like that, and it's going pretty well. Hopefully there'll be more I can do and receive more feedback on it and develop a little bit more in that respect. Another thing I really wanted to focus on in my professional development is the role of conflict as a manager. I did speak a little bit about conflict as an employee, and I'm not naturally gifted with conflict. I have to work very hard at it, and it's still extremely hard for me. So as a manager, it's still hard for me. I work with paraprofessional staff, and in the blog, I did reflect as an employee what conflict means to me, but thinking about my future roles, I really want to learn how to appropriately have conflict, even as part of a group setting. I know in our blogs we talked a lot about the storming phase of groups, and it wouldn't be the most comfortable for me, but at least I can understand and appreciate where the importance comes from, because you're forming those cohesive units that can get tasks done or can form bonds. So as a leader or a manager, conflict is important to even facilitate sometimes. I took a group class I took a class that was group process this summer, and they talked about like the forming, storming, norming phases of a group, and I didn't relate it to the workplace until I took this class and wrote these blogs. So I see that in my staff now, and I supervise paraprofessionals, so they're still figuring out their professional identity while still being students, and this is a kind of a part-time job for them, so it kind of creates an environment where it might not be the most important thing to them, even though it pays for their room and board and it is professional development. So naturally, we have a staff that, as they're all seniors, they kind of have one foot out the door. And we had a conflict in between two of them, and as uncomfortable as it was for me to watch them be in this conflict, and you could tell like the other staff members that were around them were uncomfortable, I knew from taking this class that it was such a good thing for the group, and it was such a good thing for those people's relationships, because they were team members and we needed to have a cohesive group moving forward throughout the year. So knowing that conflict is good, and it can be, you can be assertive and not take away from the group at all. I do think that if conflict lingers a little bit, that it could take away from the group. I did talk about in my blog about some conflict that did linger, I think, a little bit too long, but our group is really good right now, so I'm okay with it because we did get the result at the end and we're very efficient. So overall, I think the the blogs shed a lot of light on where I want to be going, especially with gaining skills in creativity, and definitely about conflict, reminding me that conflict is good, especially, not only in the counseling setting where we're trying to stir up emotions and get people to bond, but also in the professional business setting, and as a leader and a future manager, that it's good for my teams to maybe have a little bit of a tension, and to work through that tension. So I think those are the two main points that I'm going to take away and really focus on my professional development. Maybe talk to my supervisor about 2 goals. Like I said, I've already kind of gotten started with the creativity thing, but seeing what else I can do to foster that skill. And then the second one would be the conflict management. So I think I could probably do that every day with working with my students and working with my own professional staff members as part of the team, not the manager, but part of the team. And then that's a skill that will never be unneeded. So trying to keep gaining insights into how I can grow in that one, because I definitely need it. All right, thank you. I hope you enjoyed reading my blogs. I enjoyed writing them, and I'm looking forward to putting them to good use.